Hey guys, it's time for my next snake guide. This time around, I'll be teaching you in depth about one move, which is Snake's down throw, or Dthrow for short.
Kept you waiting, huh?
You're probably wondering why I would dedicate an entire guide to one move. Well, Snake's Dthrow is generally an essential move that all Snake players need to be fully aware of. It is the only throw in the game that puts an opponent into a tech chase. Due to Snake's ability to output tons of damage fast, you can use this to turn the tides of a match in an instant with one good read. Snake's down throw does 12% damage when fresh, so right away it's a solid throw option for damage. The real benefit to this move though is it puts your opponent into a tech chasing situation. If you are unfamiliar with the term tech chasing, it forces your opponent to get up off the ground with a limited amount of options. So if you happen to read those options, you can tack on more damage off of the throw or even continue with more Dthrows. There are a few major keys to being good with Dthrow. The first is knowing what your opponent can do on the ground. Without getting super complicated, your opponent has only 4 options to get out of the situation. Technically there is a 5th that can lead into the other 4 options, but I'll get into that soon. The 4 options your opponent can do on the ground is get up attack, just plain get up, forward roll away, or back roll behind you. If your opponent is trying to mind game you, he can sit there and do nothing and either lead into one of the 4 options when the opponent feels it's a good time, or the game will make them do a regular get up eventually. Knowing these 4 options results in tech chasing. If you guess and react correctly, it's free damage. If you guess wrong, however, you can get punished, so be careful. This leads to the next key of Dthrow knowledge and the most complex to fully grasp. Of course, I am talking about reading your opponent's actions. The best way to tech chase during a Dthrow is to quickly assess what your opponent's best options may be. For example, if you are Dthrowing someone and they are on the edge of the stage, their instinct will tell them to get away from the ledge. So you'd be more prepared for that than say someone rolling even closer to the ledge. Note that because of this, it leads to more complex mind games, because then it can turn into your opponent predicting your prediction or having you predict their prediction of your prediction. Confused yet? That's how deep Dthrowing can be. Knowing this, it gets even more complex. A huge factor in deciding how you're going to predict and react to your opponent stems from who you're actually playing against. What I mean is you would probably do a Dthrow tech chase differently when playing someone like M2K than you would playing someone who's never been to a tourney before. A simple example of this is that a new player may not know of any mind games to get out of the Dthrow, so they'll just end up doing what their instinct tells them rather than try to mind game the Snake player. However, a player like M2K may be aware of what you may be expecting and do the exact opposite to throw you off, so always take into account who you are facing when preparing to read a Dthrow. You'd be surprised how many players have extremely bad Dthrow escaping habits. Now that you're aware of how to deal with predicting, let me explain some tricks you can do and tricks your opponent can do so that you can increase your chances of getting that read from a down throw. A common trick an opponent will do to get out of a down throw is to repeat the same option over and over. So if you Dthrow them once and they roll away, they may roll away again because most players would not expect the opponent to actually do that twice in a row. Some may even continue rolling away even if they get caught twice, assuming you may eventually predict that they may do another option. A common scenario if you have a nade out while Dthrowing is that the opponent will try to get up attack with the nade there to stop you from punishing them. If you react to and predict this, and they don't time it perfectly, they take a ton of damage from both the nade and your punish. There is also the option of them rolling into the nade while it explodes to stop you from following up while avoiding the nade damage from the invincibility frames from the roll. One last tricky scenario is trying to mind game your opponent by making them mind game you. For example, let's say you do the Dthrow while facing the ledge of the stage. Now face away from the ledge while your opponent is still there. If they see this, they may try to mind game you by rolling right in front of you despite knowing that you're looking in that direction to try to throw you off, so be prepared for that situation as well. Next is something that's unfortunately very important for Snake players to know. This is knowing that all characters have different get-up animations. What do I mean specifically? Well, for one, it means some characters will roll very far from you, while others will seemingly go nowhere. It also means some characters have get-up attacks that are hard to punish. What all of this means is that some characters are easier or harder to tech chase than others. A great example of easy to tech chase characters are Olimar, Rob, DK, Game & Watch, DDD, and Toon Link. Hard to tech chase characters are generally Marth, Ike, Zelda, and some more. Most of the difficulty of tech chasing a character stems from how far their forward roll goes. or sometimes even their back roll. Some characters can also be hard to tech chase just because they have a good get up attack, or a character like Meta Knight who has great frame options if he just gets up. Last little tip for character specifics to note is that grabbing an opponent on a small platform, such as the battlefield platforms, set you up for some easy tech chase reading. This is because even characters with good rollaway options will go nowhere. It's also an easy read because most opponents will get up attack to try to push you off the platform, so it's easy to prepare for that. Before finishing this guide, let me quickly mention some great punishing options to follow up on the Dthrow when you get the read. If you can, always go for another Dthrow. It will cause the opponent to start panicking usually and make mistakes with trying to escape your Dthrow. The next best option is usually a simple F-tilt. It adds a ton of damage, however it does not lead into anything else. One of the most damaging but most risky punishes is doing a down air wherever you expect the opponent to go. Usually it's on a back roll. However, note that the opponent can still SDI and sometimes even straight out shield during the middle of it, and that you are also wide open if you miss. When you hit though, it can be a nice way to get an early KO. Of course, don't forget about the dreaded up tilt that many opponents fear. When the opponent is at kill percent, going for this out of a good Dthrow read secures the KO. Just beware that some characters' rolling options out of the Dthrow make it rather difficult to punish with up tilt, even if you get a full read. One more fun option includes just straight out attacking the opponent when you down throw them. This directly counters opponents who like to sit on the ground doing nothing after their Dthrow to try to confuse you. Up tilt will always work in this situation, and some characters can even be jabbed into a grab or F tilt, or just plain F tilting works. This concludes my Snake down throw guide. Hope this has helped any Snake players out there that may not have really been informed of the specifics of this move, or the players who underestimated how useful Dthrow is. I have at least one more Snake guide planned as of right now, so make sure you subscribe.